Most of us are not broke. We just don't understand money. We don't really know how to get it. We certainly don't know how to keep it, and we certainly don't know how to grow it. So those 3 steps, getting it, keeping it, and growing it, are usually where most people mess up. They either get some of it, but they can't keep it. And then if they can't keep any, they obviously can't grow it. So you get stuck in this hamster wheel of paycheck to paycheck, or month to month, or quarter to quarter, and you're never ever getting ahead. I mean, there's a lot of statistics of what families actually have in their bank account or what they have for their retirement. It's saddening. And I mean it's respectfully, but it's the truth. Because when we look at financial freedom, we look at financial pressures, it is unbelievable how that can crush a man, and especially how it can affect a family. Like, the only arguments most people have inside their marriage are around money, sex, and kids. And money is a massive one that is always brought up, and it's always a point of tension and arguments and frustration. You guys ever notice how you can be having the best day in the world, all things are going awesome, and then all of a sudden you go negative in account and you're like, God, everything sucks, fuck life, everything's going to shit, and you know what I'm talking about. Like, money is such a powerful thing. Money is such an important thing, and those that say that it's not about it are actually full of shit, and they're just giving themselves excuses for their current situation. Because every single person I know that actually has a wealth of abundance and actually gives to charities and helps people and helps organizations and builds big things, guess what? They're really awesome, amazing people, but that also have a lot of money, because money makes things flow. So let's step into where you're currently at, because this may not even pertain to you with wherever you're at. So if you're watching this right now and you've barely got any money in your bank account, you have no investments, you have no retirement, you have no idea, quite frankly, what you're doing with your money, I'm going to lay out 4 very simple steps that will allow you to just start making some shifts and moves in the direction. I'm not saying you're going from 0 to 100K in 90 days. Fantastic if you do. Please utilize this and tell me that you did so. But this is to get things on track. Now, before I start on this 4-step process, let me give you a little bit of the history so you can actually realize why this matters, that I'm sitting here telling you this, okay? Are there people that are much more wealthier than I am? Yeah. There's also a lot less that are not. But the reason I share this with you is because most of you know that 9 years ago, I was bankrupt, losing it all, giving away cars back to the dealership, selling stuff. I was fully exposed, made terrible business decisions, had audits. I lost $435,000. My life was in ruins. And because of all of that, it led me to severe alcoholism, attempted suicide. Like, I can keep going, but I know the impact of money and what it does for the internal state, especially for men or the primary producers of finances in the household. There's an immense amount of pressure that some want to talk about and some do not, but it is heavy as shit. I know I'm a guys with me all the time that, man, I can't even enjoy the holidays. I can't even enjoy Christmas because we start looking at Christmas lists and the money's going out, and then you got a Happy New Year, but then you're freaking out because your credit cards are at $15,000 and you're trying to backtrack and get control of the finances just enough time for it to hit all over again. And people do this for decades, like decades of misery. So let's jump into 4 simple steps. This is not like record-breaking material, but this is 4 really simple things that I did and have taught a lot of the men inside the arena to do, depending on wherever they're at. So let's start here. Step 1, where is it going? Like, where's the money going? Most of us are not using QuickBooks. We're not budgeting. We're not looking at receipts or credit card statements or bank statements. We actually don't even know where the hell our money is going. I will tell you right now, when you dissect your finances, it's going to be in the details. Typically, it's not some random large purchase for $3,000 or $4,000 or $500 or $600. It's caught up in the details. It's usually the repetitious spending on subscriptions, eating out, Starbucks, entertainment, alcohol, whatever it may be. But you have to dissect it out and start looking, where the hell is my money actually going? And once we figure that out, I will go to our next steps and I will show you what we're going to do about it. But you have to identify, where is it going? And once you see where it's going, you have to look at that list and say, where this money is going, is it serving me or is it not? Because if you're spending money on 7 gym memberships, you may just need 1. If you're spending $600 a month worth of alcohol and entertainment, maybe we could spend $100. If you're wasting money at strip clubs and going on vacations you can't afford, that's an easy answer saying, this really doesn't serve me. So once you dissect inside the details of where your money is going, you have to ask yourself, man, here's it going. Does this serve me or does it not? And then it's going to get very clear once we get into the further steps of how we're going to start altering this. Now, let's talk about what's coming in. If you're on a salary or you're an hourly position and you know your set hours, great. This is gonna be really simple for you because you know your paycheck's gonna be relatively the same every 2 weeks or monthly, however you get paid. If you're an entrepreneur, if you have businesses, if you pay yourself as a 1099, like you and I both know that it gets a lot more complicated than just a salary, okay? Because if the business isn't doing well, you're not paying yourself well, and you're not paying yourself what you should pay yourself if the business isn't getting the revenue that it actually needs. So I'll start here. You have to figure out what is the minimum that I'm getting every month. Let's say some months I get $65,000, but some months I get 30. Okay, well, let's not say it's at 65 because that's not realistic because that only happens like 3 months out of the year. So look over time, maybe even 12 months, and figure out what has gone into that account and that you're paying yourself, and let's maybe average it out, or even go on a lower end because we would rather undershoot than overshoot when it comes to planning and budgeting. Like I said, if you're on an hourly or salary position, this is way simpler. You get paid $10,000 a month, great. It's going to happen $5,000 on the first, $5,000 on the 15th. It's just going to be very simple. This will be a much easier process for you. If you're an entrepreneur, you're 1099, you're not sure where money is coming from and how much you're going to make, stop and look at your averages and even go on a lower end, because this is what we got to create a baseline as we move into step 2. Step 2, your baseline basic needs. And this is very subjective, okay? So let me break it down. Your baseline basic needs are food, water, shelter, mortgage, rent, whatever it may be, groceries, things you need in your home like deodorant and toothpaste, electricity bills, things of that nature. But these are the basic needs. Now, basic needs are not always Netflix. Basic needs are not the high-end makeup or high-end toothpaste or, whatever. What I'm getting at is that what are your baseline needs to actually live your life? Write that out because that's going to be your number. And then very quickly, you're going to see some of you guys, you're going to shit your pants when you write this out because you're going to realize that what you've created in your life, you're spending at 120% of your income month over month over month. And then you wake up and you realize that you're $100,000 in credit card debt. You've got a line of credit open for $50K and everything's maxed out. You've maybe extended something on your home and you're in a position where you're like, shit, I'm about done here. Like we're looking at bankruptcy. Been there, I get it. So I'm telling you, when you look at this, you're going to see things very, very clearly and really get down to the nitty gritty when we're talking about your baseline basic needs. And then we're going to also figure out if we need to alter those. Now, this is going to put us into step 3 out of 4. Step 3, very simple. Let's calculate the debt. Now, this is going to be uncomfortable for most of us. You're going to pull up your mortgage, you're going to pull up your car loans, you're going to pull up your credit card statements or anything else that you have financed. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to put credit card, Discover, Visa, MasterCard, and you're going to put the number of debt. Maybe it's $10,000, $20,000. You're going to put this car, and let's say it's at $35,000. Whatever you finance, and you're going to put the number. Then you're going to put the interest rate. So this is the item, this is the amount of debt, and this is the interest rate. And you got to list this out, whether it's a pen and paper, whether it's a spreadsheet, I don't care. But you must calculate and look at your debt. And then, of course, you're going to probably piss your pants when you start realizing the actual debt of this. If it doesn't surprise you, and it's not a lot, congratulations, you're in a very small percentage of the world. Now, once we have this list of the actual item financed, we have the amount that's left on the unfinanced, and we have the interest rate. Then we get to start peeling it back to figure out what needs to go first. When I say what needs to go first, there is positive and negative debt, okay? For the purpose of this, let's talk about negative debt, okay? Like a mortgage, things of that nature. Sometimes we need to get less of a mortgage, but those aren't necessarily like negative debt. Negative debt is a 26% interest card. Negative debt is a 13% vehicle that you are having right now that's a $120,000 car. That is negative debt. So we want to look very quickly at this list that we just made and to quickly highlight what are the negative debts that must change. Now, this is going to lead us into step 4, and this is where we implement and we apply the actual change. Write this down. You're going to put what do I need to add? What do I need to eliminate? Now, this is really uncomfortable because you've created these conditions in your life and you really like what you have. You like your home, you like your cars, you like your circumstances, but that doesn't change you laying on your back staring at the ceiling at 2:30 in the morning, wondering where the hell the money's going to come from next week or next month to make sure and cover all your bills because you're living at 110, 20, 40% of your actual income. So when we look at this list of where the money is going in step one, it's going to become very clear what we need to cut out. If once we start looking at the credit card debts and the negative debt, it's going to be very clear on what needs to go first. And then step four, it's the plan of action. It is laying it out. What do I need to eliminate? What changes do I need to do? Now, if you can get through these 4 steps and do this for 90 days relentlessly and really stick to it, like you have to stick to it and set a budget. If you're spending $600 on entertainment, spend $100, whatever that number may be. Reset that, and then you will have a calculated number that you're going to save every single month from that you're going to apply a portion to savings, let's say 20% to savings, and you're also going to apply the rest of that to beat down the debt. Beat down the debt as much as you possibly can. Do this for 90 days. I want you doing it longer, but to prove it to yourself, do it for 90 days and watch how things start churning and changing and evolving in your life. Now, I'm telling you this, remember my history, okay? I was bankrupt and went to zero, but I'm telling you that once you identify all this stuff, some of you guys are gonna get really, really, really uncomfortable, and there's a lot of options, okay? Now, I'm going to get into briefly, if you're in a really bad position, okay? Really bad position. Well, maybe that's step 4, the change that needs to be made, maybe it's bankruptcy. Maybe it's debt consolidation. Maybe it's actually figuring out that you're not completely upside down on your car so you can get out of it and get a lot lesser of a vehicle. Maybe you got $80,000 car. Maybe you need a $30,000 car. Maybe you've got a $500,000 home. Wow, this is uncomfortable, but if you look at the facts, maybe I need a $300,000 home. These are things to consider. But if you're really committed to long-term financial wealth and financial freedom and building a lifelong legacy for you and your family, this is the shit that has to change. Because if not, you're going to keep spinning the wheels and spinning the wheels. And you and I both know, you look back 5-10 years, yeah, it's been the same. I've been there. It's the same. So if you keep repeating these same patterns, shit's going to be the same in 5 or 10 years. And this is why we have people that are 60, 65 years old living paycheck to paycheck to paycheck, being in a real reality, realizing they are always going to be working. They're going to be 80 working. Like there's no plan, there's no retirement, there's nothing. So don't find yourself in this position. Take these steps very seriously. Quick recap. Step 1, where's it going? And then what's actually coming in? Step 2, list out those baseline basic needs. Like really review what's the baseline necessities in your life. And there should be a big gap between what you really are living at and what those baseline basic needs are. Step 3, you want to look at all your debt, and especially the negative debt. Make that list out. And this pushes us into step 4 of what changes do we need to make? What do we need to add? What do we eliminate? What do we need to start a process of to start liquidating some of our assets and selling stuff or offloading or getting less debt with the cars, or maybe it's moving homes. But if you are ruthlessly committed to a financial freedom and a financial legacy for you and your family, these are the steps that you must make and show up as a leader inside the family, as pissed off or frustrated or disappointed as your spouse may be, depending on how much you actually communicate finances with them or not. But this is your calling, this is your duty, this is your responsibility. So own it and get to work.